Hey, what's up everybody? 8-Bit Flashback here. Today I'll be giving my full review for the Analogue Mega Sg. And as of right now, this is the best Sega Genesis or Mega Drive clone available, but it still doesn't beat the king, the original Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. So the Mega Sg is available in 4 colors, and I decided to go with the white model, just to have something different. It uses FPGA technology to give the most accurate and closest gameplay experience when compared to the original Sega hardware. Here's a clip from the Lost Vikings demonstrating how nice it looks. Included with every Mega Sg is a Master System cartridge adapter. Here's Shinobi for the Master System in action. Also inside the box, you're going to find a quick startup guide, front and back, and a spacer pad for the Sega CD. So this is a foam pad that you can put on top of your Sega CD to make that edge connector connect properly to your Sega CD. Now I'm not the biggest fan of this, and I'll explain this here in just a second. And at the very bottom of the box, you'll find a USB power cord, a USB power supply, and an HDMI cable. Let's take a closer look now at the console. It has a power and reset button located on the front, and on the side it has a slot for a micro SD card so you can update the firmware. And as of yesterday, you can now jailbreak your console using just an SD card. And it's really simple to do. Basically, you just update the firmware with the unofficial custom firmware, and this allows you to play games from Genesis, Mega Drive, Master System, Game Gear, and ColecoVision directly from the SD card. I'll cover this more in another video, but I have tested this and it seems to be working well. And I'll make sure to post a link to this information down below. So this new hack just made the Mega Sg even better. Located on the back is the HDMI and power ports, and on the bottom, instead of having little rubber feet, it has a rubber pad to keep it from sliding back and forth easily. On the right side of the console is the edge connector, so this is how we connect up to the Sega CD. For the cartridges, they insert nice and easy, not too tight and not too loose. Now let's go ahead and try out Troubleshooter. So this is a great game, and I've tested all kinds of games, and as far as the gameplay experience goes, it's really good. Although I have had a few issues with how the controllers are being recognized, and I'll discuss that more here in just a few. And here's a size comparison with the original Sega Genesis Model 1 and Model 2. And I'd say it's closest to the Model 2 because of the cartridge slot location and the power and reset buttons, but really it looks nothing like the original Sega Genesis's. And I wish it did, because the original Genesis had a really good design. It had a lot of nice contours, and it was just a really good looking console. Now let's try out the Sega CD. So to use it, you want to put that pad down first, then take off the cover to your edge connector, and then slide it into place. And you'll find it's kind of hard to slide into place because it kind of grips on that pad as you're pushing it in, but that's not that big a deal. But what is a big deal to me is how this can move up and down. I'm not a fan of this at all. On the original Sega Genesis, it had a bracket, and this kept it secured to your Sega CD. So this bracket secures to the bottom of the Genesis. Then when you slide it in place, it actually locks in place. That way it can't move up and down. And I would prefer that the Mega Sg secured more like this, but it still works. To use the Sega CD, it's simple. Just plug in your power supply to the Sega CD, then power on the Mega Sg, and once you get to the main menu, select Run Cartridge, and it will automatically load the Sega CD BIOS so you can play your Sega CD games. And if you want to play Sega CD games from different regions, we can do that by using that latest hack I was talking about earlier to load alternate Sega CD BIOSes. Or you can use an EverDrive cartridge to load an alternate BIOS as well. So right now I'm loading a Mega CD BIOS, and now I can play Mega CD games on my Sega CD console. And for your Mega CD or Sega CD audio to work properly, you will have to go into the audio settings and then make sure you enable the cartridge and CD audio output. Graphically, the Mega Sg delivers as promised. Here's a comparison between the Mega Sg and the Hyperkin Mega Retron, and it's very noticeable which one looks better. The graphics on the Mega Retron just look kind of blurry in comparison. But that being said, the Mega Retron is only $45, and I would still consider it a solid Genesis clone console. When comparing it to the original Genesis Model 1, using just a cheap $35 SCART to HDMI converter, the results were very close, with the Mega Sg having just a slight edge over my 30-year-old console. The cartridge compatibility is also very good, with most everything working properly. The only issue I ran into was with my Chinese EverDrive clone not loading games properly, and having to do special tricks to make the games work. And this same exact EverDrive clone works just fine on my original Genesis. And probably my biggest complaint about the Mega Sg right now is that the 32X is not supported. Now they have been talking about supporting it in the future with a possible adapter of some sort, but right now, as is, it's not possible. And with the price tag around $200, I feel that the target consumers are going to be collectors such as myself, who might already own the 32X. So not being able to use it right now is definitely a disappointment, but to be fair, it was never advertised as working before I made my purchase. One issue that I've run into with controllers is that the Mega Sg recognizes all controllers as if they're a 6-button controller without changing some of the settings inside the menu. I found this out while playing Miss Pac-Man, which is incompatible with 6-button controllers, but as you can see, I'm using a 3-button controller here and it's not working. And it's an easy fix. You just go to hardware settings, then enable force 3-button mode, then your controller will work like it should. Now this isn't a big deal to change, but it's still annoying. There is quite a few different options you can play with inside the settings menu. One of them is inside the tools, and that's cheat codes, so it has a built-in game genie. You can also play with the resolution, screen size, scalars, scan lines, and more. And with the newest firmware, the game Ultra Core is included. This is an awesome, fast-paced Contra-like game with great graphics, music, and gameplay. So here's my conclusion. The Mega Sg plays games great. It's got awesome resolution, sound, and gameplay. And with the new jailbreak hack, you can basically turn an SD card into a mini EverDrive, which is awesome. But this console is not for everyone. It's not cheap. $190 will be too expensive for a lot of consumers. Basically, what I'm looking for is a Sega Genesis alternative with HDMI output that's completely compatible with all accessories. The Mega Sg comes very close to what I'm looking for. The Sega CD support is great, as well as many other features, but for now, the original Sega Genesis and Mega Drive remain king. Through the use of SCART converters and other products like Retrovision cables, you can achieve great looking resolution, making your old consoles worthy, but this all comes at a cost. Okay, it is time for me to get out of here, but if you like this video, if you could hit that like button and have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.